So is it possible that you could save a few dollars by using steel target ammo for hunting? Well, in this video, I'm gonna put that to the test. George here with the New Hunter's Guide, and today I want to test to see if steel target ammo is viable for hunting. Hunting what, you might ask? I'm thinking things like doves, crows, squirrels, teal, things of that size. Now, why would I want to use steel target ammo for hunting? Well, a couple big reasons, and they're the same reasons why you might use lead target ammo for hunting. Number one, it's less expensive. Number two, it's appealing to be able to use the same ammo for sporting clays, trap, and skeet shooting in the woods, because you get to know that ammo. You get to know how it patterns, what the leads are like, how far you can hit, and then you can transfer that into the woods and potentially have fewer misses. But the question is, does the target ammo, particularly this case, the steel target ammo, have enough potency to do the job? Well, we're gonna put that to the test. I've got 3 different loads that we're gonna look at. I've got some BOSS steel target ammo, I've got some Winchester target ammo, I've got some Remington target ammo. The first one's steel, the next 2 are lead. I bought all of this ammunition with my own money, though BOSS and Winchester have given me ammo in the past. Let's go ahead and take a look at these particular loads. First up, we've got the BOSS Target Steel, the Remington Gun Glub lead, and then the Winchester AA Diamond lead. Now the steel 7-shot, where the other 2 are 7.5. The steel 1,235 feet per second, while the other 2 are 1,200 and 1,250. The steel's 1 ounce versus 1 1/8 and then 1 ounce. The steel has 420 pellets versus 394, and I think about 360 on the Winchester, though I was not able to find the exact number, so that's my best estimate. Recoil's very similar. Now, why these particular lead loads? Well, the Winchester AA Diamond Grade was the closest lead that I could easily find to the specs of the steel target load. And it's also very similar in price. The Remington Gun Glub represents my go-to load for sporting clays and a fair amount of hunting as well. I've broken a lot of clay targets with this load. I've also downed birds with it. And I know that the Remington Gun Glub is sufficient for taking down crows at the 30 to 40 yard line. So whatever that ammo will do, if the target steel ammo can match that, I know it's at least good enough for crows, but we'll see what actually happens. Now, I have designed several tests that we're going to use to evaluate this ammunition. We're going to run it through my Beretta A400 shotgun with a TrueLock Precision Hunter modified choke tube, all of which I bought with my own money. Why modified? Well, for pretty much all of my sporting clays, trap, and skeet shooting, as well as most of my hunting with target ammo, I tend to use a modified choke tube, so that's what we're going to use today. Let's head down to the range and get this test started. And I am down at the range. I got my eye protection on, I've got my Tetras in for ear protection, and Tetra Hearing is also the sponsor of this video. Guys, I have been wearing these devices right here for pretty much every hunt and range outing for the last several years, whether the camera's running or not. And I have found them to be the best hearing protection that I know of on the market. And why is that? Well, they come calibrated to your personal hearing level and can compensate for hearing loss, and they're based on hearing aid technology, so I can hear everything that's going on all around me, and then every time I pull that trigger, they become instantaneous hearing protection, and then immediately your hearing comes right back. And I've been able to notice things I've not noticed before, like all the tones and sounds of birds splashing when they hit the water because my ears aren't muffled by the muzzle blast. And more than that, Tetra is known for their patented audio algorithms, so I can set them to deer, turkey, waterfowl, upland game, and a lot of other things, and they will amplify the sounds of the animals that you're hunting so you can hear them more clearly and from further away. And thanks to Tetra, you can get a free 2-year extended service plan, which covers unlimited service, cleaning, lab side parts and labor, and lifetime recalibration if your hearing level changes. Simply use my link in the video description down below. That'll take you to the 2-year extended service plan. Add that to your cart, pick out your devices, add those to your cart, and then use my discount code also down below at checkout to get the service plan for free. If you use my link or discount code, I earn a small commission. Thank you for your support, and thank you, Tetra. Now we have our modified choke tube loaded up, and we're going to go ahead and hit it first with our steel. All right, up next after that, we're going to go ahead and use our Winchester AA. And in case you're wondering, yes, this is a newer gun and it has not been cycling target loads reliably. Not any kind of target loads reliably. I'm gonna go ahead and change paper and we'll hit it with the next one. And now I've got the Remington load, our good old 1 1/8 ounce. Okay, let's go take a look at these targets. I have all 3 of these targets laid out here, and I have drawn a 30-inch-ish circle over the densest part of the pattern. You mean, George, what do you mean 30-inch-ish? Well, guys, this is not a laboratory. I'm a guy in the field with a pen on a string. No, really, this is what I use. And if I tilt it like this or like this, the circle's a little bit different size. Now, you may say, George, why are you using that in order to draw your circle? Well, one big reason, the range is not close to my house, and I can just fold that up and put it in my pocket. Easy to go. So I do, though, measure the circle after I draw it in order to try to compensate in my counting to make it as fair as possible. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at these. You might wanna watch this a couple of times. Also look at the pattern distribution, not just the pattern density. Let's jump in with the steel. We got right here, really good pattern with the steel. Really nice distribution also. Very good pattern. Now we've got the Winchester. Really good pattern here. The Winchester is a little bit tighter. I don't know if the distribution's better, but it's just as good. Then we have the Remington Gun Glub. Really good pattern on this one. Absolutely enough to do the job. Is it better than the others? I'm gonna say just as good probably. All right, so which one of these patterns is the winner? Well, I think the Winchester is probably slightly ahead. Although the steel's distribution and how even the spread is feels like it might have the edge there. That's hard to measure. But what we can measure is the number of pellets. So I will get all of the data for how many pellets are in each one of these circles together in a chart for you guys momentarily. But first, let's move on to the next test. I know this is a hunting ammo test, but the next thing I want to do is shoot some clay targets off the backstop from the ground. And the reason is I want to compare the ballistic shell results to the effect that these shells have on actual clay targets. That just gives us one more point of context for comparison. So we'll start off here first with our steel load. And I'm going to go ahead and take 2 shots with that. Then I will load up 2 shots of the Winchester and then 2 shots of the Remington. Now we've got the Winchester. And now we've got the Remington. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this clay. Steel ammo number 1, broken. Steel ammo number 2, obliterated. Winchester, broken well. Winchester, broken very well. Remington Gun Glub, obliterated. Remington Gun Glub, broken. Now keep in mind that shooting targets on the ground is different than shooting targets in the air. In the air, there are more forces that are working on a target that can cause it to break apart easier on impact. However, we cannot easily recover targets shot out of the air in order to inspect them. So looking at what we can see from shooting these targets on the ground, I'm gonna call it pretty much even across all 3 of these loads. I now have the ballistic shell set up at 40 yards. The steel shot is not plated and the Winchester AA is copper plated. So we can go ahead and fire both of those at the same time and to the same side of the gel because we'll be able to see which is which. So we've got our steel, then we've got our AA. And they both cycled. Very nice. I'll flip the gel around and we'll shoot it with the Remington. I may have spoke a little too soon. The second one did cycle, but it didn't have enough oomph to open the gun. So now we'll go ahead and take our shot here with the Remington. If you guys have any ideas for how to get this gun to loosen up to do a little better with target loads, I'm all ears. But let's go take a look at this ballistics shell. I have another beautiful block of ballistics gel here with different colors and pellets coming in from different sides. Let's jump in and take a look. From left to right, we've got the steel and the Winchester, and from right to left, we have the Remington. And yeah, it's a bit of a mess. So just eyeballing it, the steel is significantly further behind the lead loads. Even though it's a slightly larger pellet size, the lead definitely has the advantage. How big of an advantage? Well, I'm gonna get a good sample of these pellets to measure, put that data in a chart for you guys momentarily. Well guys, I had a lot of fun making this video so far, but let's see if we can take it to the next level by learning something while we're at it. Let's jump in and look at the data. You can see here with the steel target ammo and a 30-inch-ish circle at 40 yards, 227 pellets, 54% pattern efficiency. Then we look at the Remington Gun Glub, 210 pellets, 53% efficiency. Then we look at the Winchester AA, 262 pellets, 73% efficiency. So looking at these numbers here, we see that the BOSS target ammo comes right between the two lead loads. It did a little better than the Remington, did not do quite as well as the Winchester. Now, how many pellets do you want to see in a 30-inch circle at the range that you're hunting? Well, for things that are larger, like ducks, I want to see at least 100. For things that are smaller, like doves, I want to see more. 200, I think, is absolutely plenty. In fact, it may even be more than you need, especially if you're going to be taking a lot of your shots at closer range. So you might even want to go with an improved cylinder choke tube for this. Now let's go ahead and look at the ballistics gel test. This is really what I was after. So we look at the steel target load by BOSS, 1.58 inches of penetration. The Remington lead, 2.58, so 1 full inch more. And then the Winchester, 2.75 inches of penetration. So the Remington, which for me is the baseline because I know what this load will do on game at range, the Remington has 63% more penetration than the steel target load. So what is the bottom line here? What can we learn from this test? Well, for me, guys, the takeaway is that the steel target ammo is not as viable as I hoped. I think it's probably sufficient for shooting doves, especially if you're going to be closer than 40 yards. At 40, I think that's probably at about the limit. Now, I do not have reliable ballistics gel data for what you need to take a dove, and I did do some looking. I didn't find anything yet anyway that has convinced me, but I feel like that's probably sufficient for dove hunting at 40, and it will probably most certainly do the job at 30. But if you're looking at bigger things, teal, you're looking at squirrels, crows, I don't think the steel has enough at 40 yards. 30, maybe. Closer, probably. But at 40, I'm just probably not going to be using the steel target ammo for a whole lot other than doves. However, BOSS just released their number 7 steel hunting ammo, and I've got a video in the works for that I will put right here as soon as it's done. I also tested this steel target ammo a little bit more, and you can find that video here. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you, and go get them in the woods.